Greetings, everybody. Thanks for checking out my video. I'm your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete, and this is my series, Nails in the Coffin, where we learn that with great kills, there must also come great nails. Looking at the date, I'm sure you can guess what we're doing today. Starting a new horror franchise. I love it. It's one of my favorite horror franchises in all of horror, along with Child's Play and Halloween. Friday the 13th, released over 40 years ago in 1980, directed by Sean Cunningham. Little did he know the impact this movie would have on the entire genre. Only really notable cast members, we have Kevin Bacon, but he was pretty much unknown at the time, previously starring in Animal House in the late 70s. This is a large franchise, 12 movies to cover, and I'm going to nail every single one of them. But before I get started, if you can do me a favor, hit that like button, and most importantly, hit that subscribe button. That way you won't miss a video. Every Friday, you're going to have a new Nails in a Coffin. And every Wednesday, I have my other series, Horror Movie Superlatives, that I am collaborating with Carmen Cook. I hope you guys check it out. Hit that subscribe button. Help me grow this channel. I'd really appreciate it. Well, we got a lot of nailing to do, so let's get started. Sit back, relax, and let's put some nails in a coffin for Friday the 13th. Our first kill happens at just 4.5 minutes in. The movie opens up with a group of camp counselors singing Hallelujah. Two of them, Barry and Claudette, are giving each other serious F-me eyes. So after they get done singing Hallelujah, Barry and Claudette excuse themselves and they're going to go away and make friends with each other. They're making friends and they get surprised by the killer. They know who it is. We don't at the time, but yeah, we all know it's going to be Pamela Voorhees. And as Barry is sipping up his fly, he recognizes the person. He's quickly killed by being stabbed in the stomach. Claudette sees this. She gets freaked out and she's backing up, trying to get away from this person. She's backing herself in the corners or whatnot. She really doesn't do much. She kind of throws a cardboard box at the person, but the killer is able to catch up to her and she is killed as well. Barry is killed first, so he's going to get nailed first. And I'm going to give Barry 2 nails in a coffin. When he and Claudette were caught by Mrs. Voorhees, obviously he had seen her before. He knows who she is. And as he's sipping up his fly, he gets stabbed in the stomach and dies. We only see her, Mrs. Voorhees' point of view. So we don't know if she was carrying a knife behind her back or what weapon she had on her. So Barry was very unexpected and he was quickly killed as soon as Mrs. Voorhees approached him. So he really didn't have a lot of time to react, and there's not much more really to go on for this one. So Barry, the first kill in Friday the 13th, I'm going to give him 2 nails in a coffin. Claudette witnessed this death. She saw Barry get killed. She sees this, and she freaks out, and she's trying to back away. But she really didn't do anything. She didn't scream for help, try and defend herself, find anything. There was stuff in the room that they were in that she at least could have thrown at Mrs. Voorhees, but all she really wound up doing was throwing a cardboard box at her, which wasn't going to do much. It really didn't see Claudette do anything else. Not much of a survival instinct there. Even though she had witnessed Barry get killed, she knew she was in danger. Didn't do much. So Claudette, second kill in the movie, I'm only going to give you 1 nail in the coffin. Next up is Annie. She's hitchhiking her way to Camp Crystal Lake, and she gets picked up by Mrs. Voorhees in a Jeep. Annie is just chatting with her, talking about how much she loves working with children. As they're driving along, Mrs. Voorhees passes the turn to go to Camp Crystal Lake. Annie sees this and she lets her know, hey, you just missed a turn, but Mrs. Voorhees is just ignoring her. So Annie starts to get more and more freaked out. So she decides, hey, I'm in trouble. She jumps out of the Jeep and rolls in the dirt. And she knows she's in danger, so she starts running through the woods. But Mrs. Voorhees stops the Jeep, and, she's quickly chasing her. Annie's kind of limping along, trying to get away. But Pamela catches up to her, and as soon as Annie stands up, Pamela's able to take her big hunting knife and slashes it across Annie's throat, killing her. Annie, I'm going to give her 3 nails in a coffin. As soon as they missed a turn to Camp Crystal Lake, she knew something was wrong, even after she said, hey, you missed a turn, but Ms. Voorhees didn't respond, so she knew she was in danger. She started getting upset. She knew something was wrong, so she made the bold, brave decision to jump out of a moving vehicle, and she did so. She kind of tuck and rolled when she landed, but She did hurt her leg because she was lamping, but she still knew to get away. She was trying to get through the woods to get herself to safety with a bad limp since, she had injured herself jumping out of the Jeep. She finally tripped, and Mrs. Voorhees was able to catch up to her. But as soon as Annie stood up, Pamela grabbed that large hunting knife and slashed her across the throat. But I think Annie has survival instinct. She jumped out of a moving vehicle to get herself to safety. The only reason Mrs. Voorhees really cut up to her was because she was limping since she hurt her leg jumping out of the Jeep. She had survival instinct. She knew something was wrong when they missed a turn. It's what I'm looking for, to earn more nails. So, third kill in the movie, Annie, you're definitely going to get 3 nails in the coffin. At about 40 minutes in, we see that camp counselor Ned was killed. He was killed off screen. We just see his body lying in the top bunk with his throat slashed. We didn't see actually how the kill happened, so I'm not going to be able to rate it. But Ned's body was discovered around about 40 minutes in, but we don't know the circumstances of his death. Our next kill is Jack, played by Kevin Bacon. This is one of the most iconic Friday the 13th kills in the entire franchise. Jack and his girlfriend Marcy just got finished making friends with each other in bed. Marcy excused herself to go use the bathroom, and Jack is laying in bed. He smokes a joint. As he's laying there, we see an arm come up from behind, grabs him on the forehead, and then quickly an arrow pierces through the back of his neck, up through his throat, and he is killed in a beautiful effect shot, compliments of, the icon of horror special effects, Tom Savini. Jack, who was probably on cloud 9 at this time from the sex and from the weed, I'm giving him 2 nails in a coffin. He didn't have time to do anything. He was laying in bed, and as soon as this arm from underneath the bed grabs him by the forehead and holds him, less than about a second later, really, the arrow goes through his throat, so he didn't have time to react or do anything. There was no inclination that he was in danger or anything of the sort, so he didn't do anything wrong at the time. So Jack, Kevin Bacon, down the middle, you're going to get 2 nails in the coffin. Marcy is killed next. She's in the bathroom and she hears some noises and she's kind of looking around to see who it is. She can't find anybody. But she gets surprised from behind. She turns around and she sees Mrs. Voorhees standing there with an axe over her head. All Marcy really does is scream, and the axe comes down, and the next shot we see is the axe firmly planted inside Marcy's skull, and she's now dead. Marcy is only going to get 1 nail in the coffin. She turns around, she sees Mrs. Voorhees standing there with an axe over her head, but she didn't move, she didn't do anything, she didn't put her arms up, she didn't try and run, she didn't try and dodge, she just screamed, and the axe hits her in the head, killing her right away. I didn't see no defense, no survival instincts, she just kind of stood there and screamed. I can't say she did anything to try and protect herself, so when you see stuff like that, dumb decisions made, they're going to get 1 nail in the coffin. Brenda is the next to die, but she's killed off screen, and I'm going to be unable to rate it. We last see her, she's standing on the archery range. It's raining outside, and she's kind of squinting around the lights. She really can't see much, but we kind of hear an arrow being shot. We next see Brenda being thrown through the window by Pamela Voorhees at the end, but she was killed off screen. I'm not going to be able to rate it, but Pamela was the next person to die. Steve is the next on-screen kill. He was out at the diner and he's driving back to Crystal Lake, but his Jeep breaks down. He gets picked up by the sheriff and they're on the way back to the camp. The sheriff gets a call about an accident, so he has to drop Steve off close to the camp, and Steve has to walk the rest of the way back. Steve gets back to the camp and he sees somebody standing by the Camp Crystal Lake sign with a flashlight, and they're shining it directly in Steve's face. Steve recognizes the person and he walks up to them asking, "Hey, what are you doing out here?" And as soon as he does that, he gets stabbed in the gut right below the camera and he dies. Steve is being awarded 2 nails in the coffin. When he got back to the camp, he knew who the person was with the flashlight. He recognized them, so he didn't know he was in any danger. He had no clue that Mrs. Voorhees was going around killing, the camp counselors. He didn't even know any of the counselors, were dead at this time. He recognized the person, and as soon as he walked up, like I said, he asked, "What are you doing?" And he gets stabbed in the gut below the camera. He didn't have time to react. He didn't know he was in any danger. He really didn't have time to do anything. He walked up talking to somebody, and they just jabbed him in the stomach with a knife, killing him. And since he didn't have time to react or do anything to defend himself, when that happens, we go right down the middle, and Steve gets 2 nails in the coffin. Our next death is off screen, and it is Bill. Alice and Bill are looking around the camp since they can't find any of the counselors. Little do they know at this time that all the camp counselors are dead, and they're the last 2. Alice is looking around one of the cabins, and she can't find anybody. And as one of the doors closes, she sees Bill hanging there with a bunch of arrows impaled into him. He was killed off screen. We don't know the circumstances how he was killed, but he was next to die. But since it was off screen, we can't rank it. Our final kill in the movie is Mrs. Voorhees, one of the most iconic deaths in the Friday the 13th franchise. Her and Alice are the only 2 left, and we learn the backstory of Jason on how he drowned in the lake because the counselors were too busy having sex to save him. And this is why Mrs. Voorhees is killing all the counselors to get revenge. During the melee between Alice and good old Pamela, they're fighting back and forth, but Alice is able to grab the machete, and she runs right at Mrs. Voorhees, and in one swoop, she's able to decapitate her, killing her in a really great effect. Compliments of, again, Tom Savini. Final kill in the movie is Mrs. Voorhees, and I'm going to give her 1 nail in the coffin, and I hope that doesn't piss off Jason too much. Oh, that can't be good. But sorry, Mrs. Voorhees, you're getting 1 nail in the coffin. She was able to kill 9 camp counselors all by herself, throw them through windows, impaling them on doors with arrows, all kinds of crazy stuff. But she couldn't kill Alice. We had to get all this exposition describing her backstory and what happened to her son Jason. But for a killer standpoint, she wasted a lot of time when she had many opportunities to just kill Alice and, complete her revenge plot. But she wasted all this time. She couldn't kill Alice. And then when Alice was running at her with the machete, she just kind of looked there with a shocked look on her face, didn't move, didn't try and defend herself, didn't run. She just stood there as the machete swooped down and cut her head right off. So for that, Mrs. Voorhees, sorry Jason, your mama's only going to get 1 nail in the coffin. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Those are all my nails in a coffin for Friday the 13th. Here's a quick summary. Barry, he had 2 nails in the coffin. Claudette had 1 nail in the coffin. Annie, the bravest in the entire movie. She knew she was in trouble. She knew to get away. She jumped out of a moving vehicle. Annie gets 3 nails in the coffin. Jack, the bacon, he gets 2 nails in the coffin. Marcy, 1 nail in the coffin. Steve gets 2 nails in the coffin. And finally, Mrs. Voorhees gets 1 nail in the coffin. So for Friday the 13th, this gives us an average of 1.7 nails in the coffin. Check back here next week where we meet adult Jason and we find out how all those camp counselors do in Friday the 13th Part 2. I want to thank you again for checking out this video. I really appreciate it. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button because we're going to spend the next couple of months here at Camp Crystal Lake. So I appreciate you taking this journey with me. And don't forget to check out my other series, Horror Movie Superlatives. Those videos are out every Wednesday. Nails in a Coffin out every Friday. Really appreciate it, everybody. Stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. I am your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete. And remember, with great kills, there must also come great nails.